Our Vodacom customers are set to pay 30% less for data bundles from next month. The company has reached a consensus with the Competition Commission and will sacrifice 2.7 billion rand a year as part of that agreement. Let's discuss this further. We're joined by Vodacom CEO Shameel Joosub. Shameel, good evening, and thank you so much for your time tonight. Now, when we look at the spectrum of which the Competition Commission had given in terms of some of these reductions, they spoke about between 30 to 50% reduction. You've now gone for just around 34%. Why?
So basically what we did is I think we had an opportunity to engage with the Commission and to share with them our plans in terms of price cuts. There were robust discussions held between us and the Commission, and we decided to basically implement a series of price cuts across all our monthly bundles up to 40% on the 1st of April this year, and again further cuts on 1st of April the following year.
How will this work and what impact will it have, especially when you compare then some of the rates with prepaid workers who have been said to have, of course, been dealt the rawest, the raw end of the stick, and also then for those who are on contract, will it have an impact at all on their agreements?
So I think what's important is that we've entered into a social contract as far as we could, with the regulators, but also with the people of South Africa. The discounts will affect all customers, so both prepaid and contract customers will have the benefit of these price cuts. And as I mentioned, it will be across all the monthly data prices. In addition, the poorest of the poor, as part of our social contract, will also have the 2,000 poorest towns, if you like, will also have access to even cheaper data. So that's a big part of the promise. But also there will be a number of other social benefits. For example, all schools and universities will have free access to their school portals. So all students of the universities, schools, and colleges and technikons. There'll be free access to job sites. There'll be free access to the basic internet, which Wikipedia, news headlines, and so on. And then there'll be a number of government sites which cover safety, security, gender-based violence, small business portals, creation of employment, and so on. That will all be free to consumers.
Now, all of these...
I think this will go a long way in driving digital inclusion, but also helping with societal problems. Sorry, go ahead.
Sure. Of course, some of these measures that you're speaking about are things that had been put before Vodacom and, of course, other mobile operators over the years as people protested for the prices of data to fall. Why did it take this inquiry to finally get operators like yourself to act?
Well, I think, firstly, it's important to note that it's not because of the inquiry that this is happening. We've been bringing prices down. Last year, we passed 2 billion rand of benefits through to consumers in cutting out-of-bundle data rates. This year, we were planning to deal with the with monthly data pricing as well. But I think what it has done, instead of going into a fight with the Competition Commission, fundamentally what the Commission was saying is that prices in South Africa are too high and must come down. We agree. We agree that prices need to come down. We are bringing prices down. But also, we've been, we're on record as saying for prices to drop faster, spectrum has to come. And I think what's encouraging this year is that it looks like finally we will get access to spectrum. So then that gives us the ability to be proactive and say, okay, on the basis that spectrum will come, let's be a bit bold and let's go. Let's cut the prices even faster.
Of course, one of the other things that was raised in that report of the Commission was the kind of practices that the mobile operators adopt in South Africa versus what they're doing on the rest of the continent. So the way that you're structuring your data prices in South Africa, would you say that it's now compatible with what you're doing on the rest of the continent?
Very much so, but I think when you look at these type of things, it's also important to look at, firstly, every country that we operate in, we have spectrum except South Africa. So the last time spectrum was allocated in South Africa was 2004. That's how dramatic the situation has become. So even the smallest countries, have already allocated spectrum. So I think that's one part to always bear in mind. Which then just simply drives up the cost of data. Secondly, things like the power cuts. This year we'll spend R1 billion in batteries and generators purely because of the Eskom cuts. Now that's R1 billion that would have gone into capacity, additional coverage, and so on. Thirdly, I think one needs to take into account speed, coverage, quality. And when ICASA did this analysis, which also came out in December, they found that South Africa was neither too high nor too low in terms of pricing, set somewhere in the middle. Still room to decrease, but not extremely expensive. So I think one needs to look at all of these things, but instead of getting into a fight about this with the Comcom and showing all the proof points, one decided to rather go proactive and actually do something about it.
Sure. Now, before I let you go, Mr. Joosub, of course, Vodacom currently finds itself with a matter before the High Court in Pretoria, where it relates to one of your former employees, Nkosana. Please, Nkosana Makate, that is. Please tell us about what some of the holdups are with this case and with these payouts that, of course, Makate feels are due to him.
Well, basically, what the Constitutional Court ruled is that that Vodacom and Mr. McCarthy should negotiate, and if they can't reach agreement, that the CEO should make a final determination. I considered both matters, held public hearings, when I say hearings, where both parties were allowed to present their case, allowed for additional information to be presented, and then looked at all the facts. And I've been isolated or not been involved in the issue over the years, so I could, specifically look at the matter impartially. I then made an award to Mr. McCarthy, which was quite a big sum of money, and he doesn't feel that that's enough, so he's going back to court.
And as far as that process is concerned, given the kind of monies that he's talking about and the extent to which Vodacom is now refusing to release some of the financials as far as the revenue that you would have generated from the Please Call Me system is concerned, is that true?
No, I think, I think the negotiations and the spots across Vodacom and Mr. McCarthy, I can't really comment on that. What I can comment on what was presented and put before me, and I can confidently say I applied my mind and I was more than fair.
All right.
In the determination.
All right, then we'll leave it there for tonight. The Vodacom CEO, Mr. Shameel Joosub. We're going to leave it there for now. After the break, we'll continue with some of the day's top stories. We'll also then get into the story around the PIC and questions over government workers' pension, being used in trying to alleviate the pressure that Eskom is under. We'll find out how those talks are going. This is News at Prime.